n8n has become the hottest low-code AI platform on the market today, and for good reason. It allows people with no coding experience to create very sophisticated AI agents and AI automations that they can then turn around to either sell to people or use in their own businesses to drive a ton of value. And so to get you out of n8n YouTube tutorial hell, I created this Masterclass n8n video series to actually teach you the fundamentals to build these things on your own. In this series, I'm going to assume you have no technical background and no coding experience. I'm going to take you to step 0 all the way to creating sophisticated AI agents. We're going to learn about APIs, system messages, HTTP requests, different ways to host, everything you need to really internalize the fundamentals of this platform so you can build some really impressive workflows. And in part 1 of this Masterclass series, I'm going to show you how to sign up with n8n, how the pricing structure works, what your hosting options are, and then we're actually going to go in there and we're going to build an AI workflow that essentially becomes our own miniature ChatGPT. So let's get to it. Okay, so here we are inside of n8n, and before we actually create our account, the first thing we're going to talk about is the pricing. So for annual pricing, it's going to be about $20 a month. Monthly, it runs up to 24. And again, we're going to be on a free trial for the first 14 days. But one thing I wanted to touch on real quick is hosting, because once you're in the space, you're going to hear 3 different types of hosting talked about all the time. You're going to hear about cloud hosting, self-hosting, and local hosting. Now, what's cloud hosting? Well, that's exactly what this is. You'll see right here, it says hosted by n8n. That's just saying, where is the n8n instance you're working on live? Whose server is it running on? In this case, the cloud is the cloud that's run by n8n. And so you pay a little bit of a premium for that. In this case, $24 a month. And what does it buy you? Well, it buys you simplicity and ease of use. We're just going to start our free trial and it's going to automatically work. It's going to get updated regularly, and we're using the official version of n8n. Now, your 2 other options are self-hosting and local hosting, and both of those are doable. They just require a little more technical know-how. And so what self-hosting is self-hosting just means you're taking n8n and you're not using the official n8n servers. You're just going to a different third party. And that might be something like DigitalOcean. So I use DigitalOcean servers to host n8n. Now, why would I do that? Well, it's a little more flexible and oftentimes it's cheaper. For roughly the same amount of power, it's going to cost me like $7, $15 hosting on DigitalOcean. But again, it just requires a little more technical know-how. I'm responsible for the updates. And also, I'm going to be using the community version of n8n, not their official version. Now, what do I mean by the community version, the official version? Well, for all intents and purposes, they're pretty much the same. You can create the same agents and automations. The community version is just what is used by local hosting and self-hosting users, and it gives you the ability to also use community nodes that aren't officially approved by n8n itself. The last type of hosting is local hosting. So if in self-hosting, I had a third party, run n8n for me. In self-hosting, I'm the third party, right? It's first party hosting. It's either on my computer or my own server that I own. And again, this tends to be cheaper. It tends to be more flexible. I control where the data comes in and out of, but just requires a little more technical know-how. And so for this masterclass, we're not going to dive too deep into that, but I do have videos that go through how to self-host and how to local host. I'll link those below. So if you are interested in doing that, you can go ahead and execute. So I hope you are only mildly confused about the hosting situation with n8n, but for us, we're going to be on the cloud, super easy, and we're going to do the free trial. So you're just going to hit get started for free, and then you're going to fill out all your information, and then you're going to click start automating. And that's going to bring you to this page, which is essentially your control center for all your automations. Right up here, we have workflows, credentials, executions. So all the workflows you create are going to be listed here. If you click credentials, right, every time we hook up an external account to n8n, it's going to have a corresponding credential. You'll be able to see all of them here. And then executions are just that. It's a log of all the executions. Every time you run a workflow, that's an execution. So we can always come here if we need to troubleshoot something or see what actually happened in the past. Now, what you need to care about here on the left-hand side is the admin panel. So if I click there on the bottom left, this is where I can change things in my account. I can upgrade my plan. I can manage my billing. And what you can also manage, if you click up there on the top, is your version. So n8n pushes out updates fairly regularly. So if you ever need to update your n8n version, this is where you're going to come. And then also make sure you have verified community nodes clicked here. Now, the only other thing you might care about here on the left-hand side is templates. And this brings you to the workflow marketplace for n8n. So as you see, over 3,200 n8n workflows. Most of them are free, some are paid, but you can kind of search for any workflow that you're trying to build or want to see how someone else built it and find it here. You just click on it, right? It'll be used for free. It allows you to download it and then upload it in your own n8n instance. And oftentimes they do a really good job of explaining, hey, here's the features, here's how it works, why should you care? So Great place if you're trying to get inspiration for building your own workflows or just want to see if something exists that you are trying to automate yourself. And so that brings us back to here, and let's actually build our first workflow. So you're going to hit start from scratch, or you can hit create workflow. So here we are inside of the canvas, and this is where we actually build our n8n workflows. Now to change the name of the workflow, you just come up to here on the left, you click on that, and you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to name mine demo. We're able to save the workflow up here, share it, turn it to active to inactive. We can look at our executions, and we'll go deeper into those as we build our actual automation. On the left-hand side, you have the ability to zoom to fit. So if I have my workflow gets like moved and I can't see it, you can just click this on the bottom left and it'll snap you to the center. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can also do that by hitting Control and doing your little mouse wheel, right? Forward and back will zoom you in and out. You can also reset the zoom, and then you also have the ability to tidy your workflow. And we'll go into that again once we've actually built some stuff. And so your first ever workflow, what we are going to do is we're essentially going to recreate ChatGPT. So we're going to create an ability to have chat messages. We're going to hook it up to the AI large language model of our choice. We're going to give it memory so you can kind of understand how ChatGPT is working underneath the hood and how easy it is to recreate it in something like n8n. So for the first step, you can either click here or you can press Tab. Tab also will bring up the screen on the right. And I'm going to move myself over here. And so what do we need first? We need a trigger. Every workflow, every agent has a trigger. This is what starts the automation and gets the ball rolling. And you can see here on the right, there's a ton of different things that can be triggers, right? We could have a form submission. We could have another workflow call this workflow. We could just have a manual one, right? I click a button, it starts. For this, we are going to use on chat message. So you can just click that. And whenever you click a module, you'll see a screen like this pop up. And this is where you can edit the model. Now, one is very simple. So on the left-hand side, all we have the ability to edit is make chat publicly available. We're not going to click that. And we can also allow file uploads as well. So we're just going to leave it as is. We're going to go back to the canvas. So now this is my trigger, and I can also open chat. If I click that, I can actually type below. I can say hello. And, nothing happens because it's not connected to anything. But that's how you set up a trigger. Next thing we want to do is when we send a message, what do we want it to go to? We want it to go to a large language model. So if I want to add a new node, I just hit the button right here. And then I have all these options on the right, right? It tells me, hey, do you want to build an AI agent? Do you want to do some sort of action transformation? All sorts of stuff. But we are going to search for AI agent. Click that. And just like you saw before, we have all this stuff pop up. Now, in later lessons, we're going to dive really deep in how we can manipulate all these things. But to start, we're just going to keep it as is. And as an aside, if you ever want to dive deeper into what these modules do, there's a little docs button here on the top right. If you click that, it will bring you to the official n8n documentation. And their documentation is actually really good and explains how everything works pretty simply. So now we're going to go back to our canvas. And while we are going to keep this all the same, let's talk about what's actually happening here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Source for prompt. What does that mean? Well, think of the prompt as the input. When you talk to ChatGPT, your message to ChatGPT is the prompt. And similar here, what's going to be the prompt? It's going to be the connected chat trigger node. So any message we put inside that chat is going to go here. And that prompt, that message has an associated variable. Now, a variable just means this right here, this JSON.chat input, that stands for something. And that stands for the actual chat message. So what's the prompt? It's the chat message. What's the variable for the chat message? Well, it's this prompt right here. So now we're going to back out. And you can see we now kind of have this AI agent set up, but it's red because it isn't ready to go. And we need to connect a few things to it. And what do we need to connect to it? Well, we need to connect a chat model, the actual brains of an AI agent, right? For ChatGPT, what's the chat model? Well, it depends. You know how you can change it from 4.0 to 0.1 to 0.3. That's the chat model behind the scenes. So if I click chat model, we'll see here on the right, we actually have a ton of different models to choose from. And these are all the big models that you know and love. Anthropic, that's Claude. We have Gemini, DeepSeek, Mistral, Ollama. And then we have at the bottom, OpenAI's chat model, which is what we're going to be using today. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. And there's two things we're going to have to put in here. One, we have to put a credential. And hey, they're going to give us free open API credits. Sure, we'll take that. And hey, it gave us some free open AI API credits, which is nice. But I'm actually going to show you how to connect your account for real. And what we have to do is we need a credential. And so to get a credential for any account, you're just going to click down here and you're going to do create new credential. And so it's asking us for our API key. We can put in an organization ID if we want, and we have a base URL. Now, what the heck are we actually supposed to put here? Well, we're going to follow the documentation. So we're going to hit Open Docs. And this is n8n giving us the exact instructions of how to set it all up. So first thing we need to do is we need to create an OpenAI account. So we're going to create an OpenAI account. Follow the link, create an account if you've never done it before. And then you're going to see something like this. What I want you to do is go to the top right where it says settings, come to the left where it says billing, and you are going to need to add to your credit balance. So the way, we'll dive into APIs a little bit deeper soon, but what's happening is when you use this large language model is you are sending a request to OpenAI, to the company that runs ChatGPT, saying, hey, I want to use your large language model in this workflow. Well, that costs a certain amount of money. Usually it's fractions of a penny, but it's something. And so to do that, you need to have some sort of balance. So we're essentially putting a credit on our account. Feel free to put any, like $5 is more than enough. And so once you have the balance, next we need our API key. So to do that, you're going to come to the bottom left, you're going to go to API keys. And API keys are essentially your password that you're going to be giving to OpenAI saying, hey, I'm a user and I have money, use my account, right? And you also have your request alongside it. So you're going to go to create new secret key and you're going to give it a name, right? Create secret key. This gives you an API key. You're going to copy that. Now also remember, never give anyone your API key. Don't even show it to anybody. So I'm going to delete mine later. And then we're just going to paste that in there. We're going to leave the base URL the same and we're going to save this and we're now connected. And so now it's time to choose a model. Now we go down the list. There's a million different models. How are you supposed to know which one to choose? Well, each model costs a different amount because it uses a different amount of power. And the way that price is calculated is based on tokens. Think of every word that you send ChatGPT as an individual token, and the price for every model is charged by millions of tokens. So if we look at OpenAI's pricing right here, right? If we look at 4.1 mini, this is breaking it down into input, cached input, and output. So input, what is it saying? It's saying for every 1 million tokens, think of if I give this model 1 million words to look at, I have a 1 million word query, it's going to cost me 40 cents. And it's also going to cost money for the output. So if I give it a $1 million query for 40 cents and it came back and gave me a 1 million word response, that would be $1.60. So that's how the pricing is done for these different models. And you can see it's different for each of these, right? 4.1, $2 and $8, 4.1 nano, even cheaper, 10 cents and 40 cents. So there's always kind of this balance that you have to strike between how powerful of a model do I need and how much am I willing to pay. But also realize 40 cents for a million tokens, that's a lot of tokens. That's a lot of words. So fairly cheap in the grand scheme of things. And if you're ever confused about, well, which model should I choose for what, I suggest just asking ChatGPT. So for this, we're just going to use 4.1 mini, which is one I really like. And so now we can actually talk to this model. We can actually talk to essentially ChatGPT. So go ahead and open your chat. And again, I'll move myself over here. And you can see your chat down here on the bottom left. And if I just say, hey, how's it going? We can see the model at work, right? Goes from the chat message, hits the AI agent, hits the model, and then it outputs it. Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you? How can I help you today? So we just set up our own little mini chat GPT here, right? Pretty cool. And also let's take a look at what's going on down here, right? We have our logs, right? You can see it went from AI agent to the chat model to the actual message received. And then you can also see when I click in here, you can also see the amount of tokens it used. Remember how it cost 40 cents per million tokens? How many tokens did we use? 33. So if you do the math, it was 0.0001 cent is what that cost us. And you can also see it broken down by prompt and completion, which is inputs and outputs. Now, why should you care about all that? Like, that's great, Chase. There's logs and stuff. Well, when we start doing more complex things and when you start doing unique things, guess where you're going to look when things go wrong? The logs. And so what else do we have here? Well, we have memory, because right now there's no memory with this agent. So if I say my name is Chase, right? It's going to say, hey, that's great. Your name is Chase. And if I ask it again, what's my name? It's not going to remember, right? We see down here as my name is Chase. That's great. What's my name? I don't have that info. How can I help you today? So we have to add some sort of memory to this thing. Now, if I hit plus on here, we have simple memory. Again, I'll kind of move my around. This is going to be the name of the game for today. They have simple memory here, as well as a bunch of other memory. Now, memory comes in a bunch of different forms. In this case, simple memory, it's not hard to set up. I just click it and we're good. We have context window memory length. So this is going to remember the last 5 interactions I've had with it. I could change that to 10 or whatever if I wanted to. And now it's going to remember my name when I tell it. The other memory options you saw there were more robust memory systems like actual databases. And so the last thing we're going to hit in today's lesson is going to be system messages, because every AI system has what's called a system message. Now, what is that? Well, if you click inside your AI agent and go to system message, you'll see it says your helpful assistant. Now, a system message is just the internal set of instructions that every sort of AI agent checks with before it answers you, right? This is the logic. This is sort of the training that you're giving it. Now, ChatGPT has one under the hood. You don't see it. But this is where, when we do more complex things, we tell it, hey, here's how I want you to go through your tasks. Here's how I want you to respond. Here's how I want you to logically assess the problems. And you can get kind of ridiculous with this to like make a point. So I could say like, hey, I only want you, great typing, I only want you to respond in Old English, right? And if I then execute the step up here, I can then see what sort of response it's going to give me. And so this is similar to you creating a custom GPT and doing custom instructions. So like the output after I said, hey, he said, after I asked it my name, it said, pray, good sir, lady, thou hast not yet revealed thy name unto me, right? And so we're going to get really deep into system messages in later lessons. And this is where we're actually going to end today, because I think this is a good place to start. And so what did we do today? We signed up for n8n. We learned about triggers. We learned about some of the basics of AI agents that we'll dive into in more detail later. We learned how to hook up a OpenAI chat model and deal with sort of APIs. And then lastly, we worked on system messages. So if you understood all of that, you're actually in a great place moving forward, because in our next lesson, we are actually going to flesh out a true AI agent and add more and more tools. We're going to go into stuff like HTTP requests. I'm going to explain what APIs are in a little more depth, and we're going to get into some of the nuances and the really powerful tools that n8n provides for us. So make sure you're on the lookout for that video, because it will be dropping tomorrow.